Hello, this is Ryan Cox. I'm excited to share with you what I've been learning while doing my senior project. It's all about cloud servers with DigitalOcean. I'm doing full stack development, but somebody talked about that last week, so I thought it would be fun to go over something different. Um, so to start off with, I'm just doing a plug for how to create an account with DigitalOcean. Um, if you sign up using your GitHub education account, which you can get through BYU Idaho, you get $200 credit. So do that. It only lasts for 60 days, but that's worth it. First thing you need to do is create a project. Just follow the instructions. It's very straightforward. So here's where it starts getting a little bit more interesting. So you'll want to create a droplet, which creates a cloud server in DigitalOcean. So right here, I'll have a website that I'll just walk you through how to do it exactly. It's pretty straightforward. They just choose a region. I would just choose a region close to us. Doesn't matter too much. Choose what you want to run on it. Ubuntu is what I'm running on mine. Choose your version. This is all normal. You can choose, I would choose one of the cheaper options, especially for a basic website or something you'd be doing for school. You don't need a ton of space. Authentication. This is really important. Use an SSH key. That way you can do logins from your device. What you want to do is go in here. If you know how to get your public key and put it in here. Otherwise, you can follow these instructions. It's very straightforward. I'm not going to walk through it. And then give it a nice name. Click create droplet, and then it'll start charging you your $6 a month or however much you want to work. So after you have your droplet, it'll load and take a second to load. You'll want to create a username. So you'll go into your droplet, make sure you SSH in. So you'll do SSH root at the IP address that you're given. And then you'll type in add user and whatever you want your username to be. So I just used my name, for example. And then you'll use the usermod-ag sudo, which will allow you to do sudo commands under that username. Make sure that you replace this with the username that you created. Next thing you'll want to do is log into your username and cd into your SSH folder. It's pretty straightforward. If it doesn't exist, you can make the directory and then use whatever text editor you want. I use Nano just because it's super straightforward, but a lot of people like Vim. Go into the authorized key and add that public key that you added in on your droplet. That way your computer can log in. So you can log in using your username at the IP address instead of SSHing with the root. So next thing you'll want to do is get a domain. So getting a domain is pretty simple. Go to domains.google.com, and then you can click the get new domain. It'll add a search bar, and you just type in the domain that you want, and it'll find you something similar if it doesn't exist. And then after doing that, make sure you set up your DNS to work properly. You'll want to add your domain. This is what you do for DigitalOcean. So just add all three of these. You'll find it inside of DigitalOcean where it will describe these things as well. That way, they route stuff through DigitalOcean so that DigitalOcean's routing will send it to the right website. After doing that, you'll click create, and you'll go to domains.dns, and it'll bring you to something that looks like this. And you just enter the @ as the host name, it just doesn't add a prefix like www dot. And if you add www, it'll add that on. And then add the droplet that you want to connect to it, click create record, and it'll create one of these records for you. That way you can access it. So after getting your domain, you'll want to get Apache. There's a lot more to this, like you'll want to do some config stuff, but it's outside of the scope of what I'm doing for this presentation. Just do the sudo apt update and then sudo apt install Apache 2. And then if you want to figure out how to do the config stuff, you can do that through DigitalOcean. Next, you'll want to get to your certificate, follow the certbot instructions. Certbot works great, it's free. You'll just say, I'm on an Apache server running Ubuntu 20. and that should work. So after you get your certificate on there and everything, your Apache server should be set up, and you can start coding and whatever backend things you want and get your clients working. You'll have to figure out more things about Apache routing and other things like that, but you should be on a good track with this.